so I am finally here with my top 10 albums of 2017. Quite delayed this year, I am sorry about that. Next year I promise it will be up on New Year's Eve, like always, yes. So finally, okay, starting off with honorary mentions, as always, yes. So first of all, I have Stellars, the Tree of Sephiroth. Yeah, that one, Stellar into the New World, yes. I wanted to include this one in the honorary mentions because of not the whole album, but the title track, of course, promotional single, and the third track, which is The Wave, which is an amazing song. I've listened to it so many times. I just wanted to mention that. If you haven't heard that one, listen to it because it's awesome. Okay, so next one, Minji. Yes, she didn't quite make it into the top 10, but still wanted to mention her. Minji Works 01 Uno. Yeah, I think that's, yeah. That's the full one. It's a really good album. I really like the title track, the promotional single, whatever you want to call it. I also really like the fifth one, Beautiful Lie. It's a beautiful song. As well as Superwoman. Oh, I really like that one. Really good album, yeah. Then I also wanted to mention Taeyeon's My Voice Deluxe Edition. It includes so many tracks, 17 tracks in total, I believe. Yeah. There's not one bad song on this. There is not a song that totally grabs me, but maybe it's just her voice, but she just makes every song good. I don't know. It's a really good album. Well worth the money, because as I said, not one bad song on this album. No. Good album. And then I have Astro, fourth mini album, Dream Part 1. This is also one of those albums where there is not one bad song. There is not one song that is like, oh, I really love this song, but all songs are good. Every single one. So I still wanted to include it in my honorary mentions, even though it didn't make it into my top 10. Highly recommend. Then I have Park Kyung's album, the first page, Notebook, the first page, his first mini album, and this is such an adorable album. Every song is so adorable. It's so cozy, it's so cute. I don't know how to describe it. It's just a really, really sweet album. Yeah, so I wanted to mention it. It's a good album, yes. And then I have La Boom's second mini album, Mr. Kiss, which is a really good album. I think Story Travel is my favorite, as well as the title track, promotional single, yes. It's just really good. It's a good album. Yeah. It's good songs. And then I have Daya's YOLO, which is a really good album. I quite like the shift from different genres. They actually have trot in there, which is really cool. So an awesome album all in all, I would say, yes. And then I also wanted to mention April Eternity, which is a really good mini album. I quite always like April's albums. They're always put together. It's not any filler songs in that sense, but they're all songs that really fit the girls, really fit the overall concept of them. I always feel it's very well worked through album. Very well selected songs to fit them. This one is a good album. Okay, and then I want to move on to honorary mentions that almost made it into. I really wanted to put this in, but I only had 10 spots. Hard. And the first of those is B2B's Brother Act. I'm not a ballad person, I would say, but this ballad album is really good. The title track is really amazing. But just overall, the whole album in itself is really well built up. It's not just songs thrown in there, but they really fit together. Although I must say there is a talk track, and if you have seen my previous years of me reviewing my top 10, talk tracks are not really my favorite kind of tracks on an album. I buy an album for the songs, so when all of a sudden they start talking for like 3 minutes, I'm like, no. So, but other than that, really good album. Almost made it in the top 10. And then I also have IU's Flower Bookmark 2, which is, again, just as B2B's album. This is a really well put together album, all in all. The songs go really well together, and just gives me such a warm feeling. Yeah, you just want to hug someone, or a pillow, whatever you prefer. Hug someone might be better, yeah. But you know, it just gives you... Oh, I love IU's voice. There is something very fragile, yet so beautiful. I don't know, it's a really good album. Really like it. And the last of my honorary mentions, which would kind of be like place 11 if I had a 11, it's Sicko's Television. I'm so sad that this didn't make it in. I wanted to because I love Bermuda Triangle, which is the last track, so much that, I mean, all the songs are good. Yeah, I wanted to make it in, but I didn't. So almost made it in. I'm sorry, Sicko. It's a really great album, though. Highly recommend it. Bermuda Triangle is so good. Like the combination of Crush and Dean and Sicko is just, it's just score. I mean, yeah, score. Alright, so top 10. And on place 10, I have Away's Angel's Knock. Yes. In comparison to, for example, IU's album or B2B's album, this I wouldn't say is as well put together. It's more like a lot of good songs thrown in there. So it's not overall best concept, but the songs in there are really, really good. So if I were to rate the album, I would give this a higher rating based on every song, if you know what I mean. Yeah. But the fact that they have 2 of their big Japanese hits, which does really good in Korean version as well, it just heightens this, and which makes it place in top 10 because there's a lot of great songs. There's not a bad song in there. There's not a lot of filler ballads that do nothing. There's just a lot of great songs in this album, which means it is number 10 in my top 10. And then number 9, I have Girlfriends, The Awakening. They once again came out with a really, really good album. Yes, Fingership is of course a great song, the title track, but all of them are good. And once again, just as I talked about with April, I feel like all the songs are well put in the album to fit the concept, to fit the girls. It just really feels like a G-Friend album in itself, which I really like when the company does that. Not just spend their money on the title track and just don't care about the rest of the album. In this case, it's really evident that all of these songs are G-Friend songs and they fit so well in. They're all good. So it's number 9 on my list. And then for number 8, CLC, Cry Style. Oh, this is a good album. This is the best one yet from them. I really like the whole concept switch, and they do it really well. Again, like I've talked about before, there's not like filler songs on this. A lot of great songs, 6 great tracks in total. And even though the promotional single, I would say, is the best, the other ones aren't far behind. Really good. And again, fits the whole concept of the album. So number 8. And then number 7, April's 3rd mini album, Prelude. I remember listening to this in the beginning of the year thinking this is going to make it into the top 10. And it did. It is a really good album. As I talked about before, with April's album, the company does really well in selecting songs that fit the girls and also putting it well together in the album. And just in this case, and they have like their other tracks as well and special versions, which are all good. But all the songs are good on this album, which leads it to place this high on my list. Because it's just a really good album. overall, I highly recommend it to you. Listen to it if you haven't. If you like this type of music, of course. And we have come to place number 6, and we have KARD's second mini album, You and Me. This has a darker tone than their first mini album, which I like. I like darker tone. I like all the songs on this album. I quite like the fact that they did Trust Me in 2 different versions, different members. Overall, it's just a really good album, really good mini album. KARD just brings quality songs, and yeah, listen to it. As I said, a bit of a darker tone, but I like that. All the songs goes well together again. It's just great album. Yes. And then for the place number 5, we have BTS, You Never Walk Alone. I know the unrepackaged version didn't make it into my top 10 in the previous year, but with the new additions of, Spring Day and Not Today, this jumped up quite high. I wasn't exactly sure where to put it though, because there are some songs I still am not a big fan of on this album, specifically some of the solo songs. But when BTS Cypher 4 kicks in, and then the songs after that, it just rises straight up. So there are some songs that are absolutely amazing on this album that it just has to be in my top 10. But it was a close call, I would say. But yeah, number 5. And then at number 4, I have a debut group. Yeah, Elris, their first mini album, Week First, which is a really good mini album, I must say. Even though it's noticeable that they are debuting and their vocals can be a bit shaky and not perfected yet, it's still a really good album. Really well selected songs, all really good. Intro is really good for the album as well. Just sets a good tone overall. I remember listening to it and this has to be in my top 10. There's no doubt about it. And now it is at number 4. And then at number 3, Cross Jeans Mirror. This album is quite special, I have to say. We have Black and White, which is an amazing song, but then we have track 2, which is Black Mind, and track 3, which is White Mind. So it's like Black and White, the song, but then divided, so that one part of the song they have made into a black version, another part of the song they made into a white version. I don't know, they're both really good. And as Black and White, it's really good as well. And the 4th track is amazing as well. It's just such a well put together album. The whole Black Mind plus White Mind, then combined into black or white, it reminds me of, when Shiny did it, combining 2 songs into one with Sherlock. It's kind of like that, but not quite, but still, I just think it's brilliantly made. It just makes for such an amazing album. So at number 3, Cross Jeans Mirror. And then at number 2, I don't know if I've done this before, having put the same group twice. But the fact is that KARD's first mini album is so damn good that it had to be on this. And so is their second album. So I had to have both there. There was nothing that beat out them. Yeah, this album is so good. It's just packed with all their hits. Oh Na Na Na, Don't Recall, Rumor, Ola Ola. It's just, so many great songs. It's such a great album. Oh gosh, I've come to love KARD so much. I remember when they debuted, I was like, wow, that's a really good song. And then the second, or no, they didn't, but they pre-debuted, whatever. When they released their first song, I was like, oh, that's really good. And then their second song, oh, that's really good. And the third song, oh, that's really good. It's just hit after hit after hit. They're just amazing. And I absolutely love that they're a co-ed group, because there is not enough of those in K-pop at all. More needed, I say. And it showed how it's done, KARD. Yes, they are. Oh, it's a good album. Oh, so good. So good. And then, okay, top number 1. I have Psy. Yes! His 8th album, 4 times 2 equals 8. Clever. This album does not contain a bad song. It's just so many great songs. It's noticeable that he works a lot on his music. He doesn't put it out that often, but when he does, I mean, his albums are always great. I think Rock Will Never Die is probably the K-pop song I've listened to the most in 2017. It's just so good. It's it's a really good album. Every single song is really good. I mean, there's nothing that can beat out him. I know I have a lot of genres on my table, on my top 10, and I tend to not be that elitist that says like one genre is better than another, because as we know, K-pop includes many different genres. It's just called K-pop because it's from Korea. But it's a good album. Nothing can beat it out. I mean, it's a full album too, 10 songs, and they're all great. How can you beat that? You can't. Well, not in my mind. I mean, this is of course only what I think. And as you might know from my previous years, I don't include singles, and singles is just 1-2 songs. And they're usually included in a studio album later on. But when it comes to Minion studio album, it's just for 2017, out of course, all the albums that I bought, there were albums that I didn't buy. So this is, of course, only my opinion and of the albums that I bought. But this is the best album for me this year, or last year, 2017. It is. Yeah. Alright, so that was it. I hope you enjoyed, and I am again so sorry that I am this late with it. This will not happen again, I promise. Very, very busy. Oh, yeah. Alright, so I hope this gave you some new ideas to albums you might want to check out. There was a lot of great albums, all the honorary mentions. I mean, there were many more I considered being on top 10, but I have to limit myself at some point. I do buy a lot of albums after all. So that was it. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. Bye bye!